and control. As a small biz pro, so we grow. Using procurement, program and control. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur.
Okay, let's try this again. Good afternoon, everyone. This is the Business Zone. You can't hear me? You can't hear me, Crystal? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Oh, Michael. Michael Holmes is not hearing me at all. So I guess we're gonna have to just try to
the Business Zone.
I
don't know if you guys can hear me, but I can.
We're gonna have to try to work on this and see if we can get Crystal in here because she can't really hear us.
So welcome to everyone. Oh wait, here you go. I can hear. Can I hear you now?
Can you hear me, Crystal?
I can hear you now. Okay.
Oh man, technology, man. I guess we're gonna have to get connected with AI and just let AI drive this thing.
I know now I know what happened. I was with the kids earlier and they were talking and I was trying to make sure that I could hear them for their that they could be heard. Excuse me. I could hear them for their they were doing their 30-second pitch. And so I was trying to make sure that hey, Jasmine, how are you? Good to see you. All righty. So I had that was a run-in, man. I just ran right on in from this camp just now. And
my co-host just ran right into the studio. So we got our set up and ready to go. How are you doing, co-host? How has your week been? I know you've been working.
Hold on. Let me remove that one. Okay, there we go. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, there was a second me coming in. Why? I don't know.
Yes, folks, every now and again we have, a little technology difficulties. So today we got it sorted out. Got my co-host here, Crystal Mitchell, and she'll tell us a little bit about how our week has been going. So, co-host, how you doing?
My week has been fine. I got Biz Camp going on. This is the second cohort and a really great group of young people with some phenomenal ideas. And so I'm with them until 2:00 in the afternoon every day from 8 to 2. And so I just ran in from this is our first week. We have finished up our first week. We go into our next week, on the 16th, on Monday, our next week. And then after that is the following week is actually the competition. So it's quick, fast, and in a hurry. But I believe they are going to be ready. And they're a great group of young people today, actually.
Very good. Very good. Very good. Well, you guys always produce some amazing talents over there in terms of the youth entrepreneurship program. So we're all proud of you for that, co-host. You and Miss Rhonda. You guys do such great work with these entrepreneurs and preparing them to be entrepreneurship ready. And I must say, many of these young entrepreneurs have really propel themselves to the forefront where they present their businesses and interface with entrepreneurship to me more impressively than many of the adult entrepreneurs. So whatever you guys are teaching them over there is working.
Well, I think what it is I think I figured out what it is that a lot of our entrepreneurs, our adult entrepreneurs, they're not creating businesses that is really solving any problems, right? They don't. It is not that intention, right? They create businesses that they like, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it solves. Somebody else may like it, or that somebody else is looking for that, but everything that we do is based upon a problem, a solution, and then the value, the value proposition, and then the underlying magic, and then work around who are their customers and so forth and so on. And then that's how they build out their pitch decks. Whereas our business, our adult businesses, I believe, if they're good at whatever they're good at, then let's just create a business in it. But they don't go through the process of finding out um, if there's actually a um, a need for it or a niche for it or whatever. They kind of have to make their own niches, and consequently, what happens, right? They stay small because it's a very small population of people that may need what they want. But our kids, nah, you can't even pitch unless you're solving a problem.
I think, and first I want to shout out Jasmine Haley in the chat. Hey, Jasmine, welcome to the Business Zone. Thank you for checking out what we've got going on here. I hope someday, Jasmine, you'll become a guest on our show so you can talk about your business, your product, and services too. So the world will know what Jasmine Haley is all about.
Yeah.
So I noticed you put a link in the chat there for the BSCDC events. I'm assuming there's an event coming up. Jasmine, if you can elaborate a little bit more on that, maybe we can share some of that with the audience, the public, so they can see what's going on. But with the thing that I believe, I strongly believe, co-host, in what we're talking about, the difference between the youth entrepreneurs and the adult entrepreneurs, I believe you guys, to some extent, you direct them down the path of creating feasibility studies on their businesses or their business ideas before they actually try to develop it and launch it. Adult entrepreneurs, most of them really don't do feasibility studies to see how feasible their business idea is, to see whether or not there's a need for it in the marketplace, to see whether or not it's solving a pain in the marketplace. Most adult entrepreneurs, they start a business because they like the idea. They might do something, and a few friends or family members, hey, that's a great idea, you should start a business. And then that should be the catalyst for them to say, oh, well, let me do a feasibility study to see how feasible this idea is and how much people in the marketplace may have a need that this is going to solve. They never do that. So with your youth entrepreneurs, you guys put them through somewhat of a feasibility study, because you may say, okay, I want you guys to develop a business. And they're going to go, okay, I'll develop a t-shirt business. And no, we don't want a t-shirt business. I want you to solve a different kind of problem.
Yeah, that's exactly how it goes. And the other way that it goes, yeah. So they'll come up. Well, a lot of them don't come with an idea at all. And then when they do, of course, it's going to be the easy way out, right? And then I'll go through. We have a layering process. So the process is that one, I go through what entrepreneurship is. I go through what social entrepreneurship is. I go through what intra entrepreneurship is, characteristics and skill sets that you require as an entrepreneur. Then I go into problem solving. So we actually use the lean business canvas model.
Yeah.
And so, of course, problem solving is the very first frame, and then solution for that, right? But I also identify what their interests are, their likes, their dislikes, their hobbies, their unique um, superpower, and then what their unique skill sets are. This comes really easily to them, and then of course I'm sharing other presentations with them that kids have done in the past, And so that, I think that's really what drives it, is that we keep layering onto it. And then of course my conversations are all about, how do you become, what kind of businesses do you really want? Businesses that are just around for a moment, or businesses that are going to be here for a lifetime? And then what are the impacts that you will leave on individuals that you're solving their problems? Once I finish all that sort of stuff, then they come back with these real businesses that I like and want. So I don't accept
Mhm.
the t-shirts and stuff. I was like, okay, if you're gonna do that, you're gonna have to show me some sort of vertical integration that you're gonna be able to then manufacture it. You're gonna do this, you're gonna do that. And so it's very hard to do that with a bracelet, with t-shirts, right? So I think that's the real difference with it, is that I'm kind of guiding them and sharing information. And then the other thing I share with them is, on the internet there are so many videos on YouTube on what are the new trends that are happening, what's the future uh uh creation, what is going to be the future businesses, what is going to be the future infrastructures, what are going to be the future needs. And when I do that, they can see that t-shirts and bracelets are not a part of that picture, and then
Yeah,
they get the point. And that's how it,
right.
whereas we don't get them, the adults, until they've created a business without any assistance, and then we're coming along adding our piece to it. That's really the difference, right?
Mm-mm-mm.
Yeah.
It's
So
amazing. It's amazing the difference, man. But what I'd like us to do is to go out there and make sure we let our audience know we're currently being broadcast on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. So we would like for the viewers and the listeners understand how to get a hold of us, how to follow us, how to stay in tune with us, and how to obtain the information that we're disseminating from this platform. We are the Business Zone, and we're on every Friday from 3 to 4:30. And my co-host Crystal Mitchell and I, Coach Gilbert Buchanan, we make it our effort, our mission to help small businesses to become business ready, contract ready, bank loan ready. And if you want to start a nonprofit, we help you with that too, and show you how the compliance requirements that you need to have so you can stay on top of your game. You can get your funding, keep your funding, and don't lose out on it. And also while filing your taxes the right way. So those are the types of things we do here on the Business Zone. When it comes to contract opportunities, guys, we are very big on that. So as the show continues today, you will see that a lot of what we're doing is geared towards helping small and micro businesses. And our topic today is going to be an amazing topic. It's about food security under siege, how these manufactured programs that they're putting out there is stifling farmers, minority farmers, and small farmers, and small businesses as well, and folks who are in our communities who are trying to hire other small folks and feed their families, are being hit by these outrageous tariffs and different types of restrictions that they're placing on immigrants. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. But in the meantime, my co host will tell you guys how to subscribe to our program, how to follow us on this channel.
okay, so you guys all see the QR code right there on the screen. You can hit that QR code. You can take a picture of it, or you can just go directly to our YouTube channel. And we are streaming live over there right at this present moment as we speak. And then we're also streaming on Facebook and LinkedIn under the Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert. So we'd love for you to go over to our YouTube channel and click the subscribe button. That way you'll get notifications every time we actually go live. So and we'd love to have you as part of our family. And actually, the eighth, which was on Wednesday, Yeah, Wednesday.
Tuesday, I believe.
Tuesday
Tuesday.
was Tuesday. The Business Zone is celebrating its 9th year on air.
Oh my
So
Lord.
it is our
Yes, that is
anniversary.
true. That is true. We are 9 years old, guys. The Business Zone is 9 years old. That's when my trusty, courageous co-host decided to put pen to paper and start this program. Yeah,
Yeah,
it,
and
it
so we
it it was
go
an
ahead.
amazing start to this journey, guys, and we've been making it happen.
Right, exactly. So, congratulate us on making it to 9 years. It's not every podcast will get to 9 years because it is a lot of work. But that you said something for our dedication. That is for sure. And so we just wanna acknowledge that 9 years on air with bringing tons of great information and some amazing guests over the last 9 years, and we will continue to do that. You can go over to our channel, and there is actually an archive of about 963 videos over there. So check them out, guys. And when I'm done with BizCamp, I was in the process before it got started of launching a newsletter. So I'm going to take off like 2 weeks in August, and that's what I'll be working on is our newsletter. So I'll be getting that out to everyone, and then having some guests, as slotting some guests that can fit in the landscape of what conversations we're having, which right now is some major conversations that are really, really either shaping or destroying the country that we live in. It just depends on where you're sitting, I guess, and what can we do to change the trajectory and the direction. And so I have some things. You guys, I mean, for those of you out there that know me, I don't sit down well and just wait to be attacked. That's just not how. That's not my. I'm not wired like that. And so activism is something that I do, and so myself and a number of leaders in the community, we get ready to rear up, and we're getting ready to create our resistance and activate Black folks to move in. Obviously, they've been waiting for some leaders, so we're just gonna take that. We're gonna take that position and make that happen because you cannot wait to be slaughtered. You got to be prepared to you got to be prepared for the slaughter. And everything that I do since I started my business is to protect the environment in this world for the young people coming up behind me, the ones that came up behind me, the ones that came up behind those that I already have had impact on. So I will not stop that. And so long as there's some young people out there that still has to live in this world after I take my bow, I will be fighting for them. So that is what I will be doing coming after BizCamp. So because
Mm-mm-mm.
we got to fight, man. We can't sit here and let the troopers come and get you, and
The
and you just
cuckoos.
yeah, the troopers, and you just be sitting on the porch waiting for them to come put the cuffs on, man. That just don't make no sense to me. I didn't come from those kind of ancestors.
We are warriors.
Yeah, I can't do that. So I got some stuff going on. We will keep you posted in the future. So with that, let's get together to talk about our topic today. So all of you know that you see it's not hidden, it's in broad daylight. The takeover of our country, the takeover of our town that we live in, which is California, state and city that we live in, which is California. They have been coming with some high powered energy and attacking something that every human being on the planet needs. and that is food. We cannot live without food nor water. And so,
what percentage of those food production you think, co-host, is produced by those migrant farm labor?
over 66% of all agricultural workers are non-citizen immigrants.
Wow, that's amazing. That's an important part of our economic engine, man. And
Exactly.
this is the part of the engine they're trying to mess with. Come on.
Yeah, and
66%.
66%. The U.S. agricultural sector heavily relies on immigrant labor, particularly for labor-intensive crops like fruits, vegetables, and horticulture. The state of California actually is one of the largest U.S. manufacturers of fruits and vegetables, especially in central California, which would be
Yeah.
the Fresno area, San Bernardino, Bakersfield area, um, all of those areas. That's where the farms are, and then there are other produce that's being produced on the coast. If you're going up the coast, and those are things like olives and pistachios and things like that. So, for any of you that's ever taken a tour through the state of California, is an amazing state, and you see all of that going on. But here's some interesting things that you all need to know, because everyone is under the impression, because that's how the media has how the media has narrated it purposely for based on the folks the um, that are in the administration. So these people are they they're undocumented, but they're not unknown. So in the U.S. agriculture sector, there is no one working on any legitimate farm in the United States of America that has not gone through the U.S. Agricultural Department of the government.
Wow.
So my cousin actually works in that space. And
Hmm.
every farmer that hires migrant workers, so they're not illegal, they're not illegal immigrants, they are migrant workers that are recruited from other countries, preferably Mexico. And when they come, the owner of the farms, have to record every migrant worker for every growing season. So if they're growing year round, then there's a spring, there's a fall, there's a summer, and there's a just before the frost, if there's a cold area, that the farms have to apply to the US government, and they have to give them the names, addresses, phone numbers, everything of the workers that will be working for that season. The government has to approve it. They even come out and do um, site visits, to make sure that these are the people that you actually registered to be in here to work. And it's not a every year you sign up. It's every time there's a harvest. This They have to be approved. So these are
Mm-mm-mm.
migrants that have been, and they get a special working permit because they're migrant workers by the US government, signed and dated and sealed by the US government. And then the farmers have to adhere to the US labor laws. So they have to have adequate housing, they have to have transportation to and from work provided by the farmers, they have to have restroom facilities, they have to have 15-minute breaks throughout the day, just like every other worker in America. That is how it
Mm-mm-mm.
works. So they got you
That is,
thinking that they didn't come across the border and just snuck onto some farms and start working.
they have to be enrolled in the system and the process in order to get it right and do it right.
Yes.
And with 66% of them controlling the operations, I mean, you'd imagine that people would take that more seriously and nurture and protect it, but instead, they are just all willy nilly doing whatever their little group friend speaks to and destroy the whole ecosystem of the farmland and the farmers and the resources they receive.
Exactly. So, and what that tells you is it's not about what they tell you it's about.
So usually when they come up with stuff like that, they have a replacement plan. What's their replacement plans for getting rid of migrant workers, minority farmers, and all of that? What's it? And I'm sure it's not AI because AI can't go out there and farm some land.
Well, I guess during the good question, Gilbert. So I guess during the election process, they were saying that um, it was going to be robots. But you and I
Hmm.
did a show earlier in the year about the fact that how far out into the future are there going to be robots in
Right,
fields? Way far out, not even on not even on paper at this
right.
present moment. So that's not going to be the replacement. So I think, I think there were two. Well, let me put it this way. Um, I think they thought that it would be pretty easy for them to get black workers
Yeah.
to come and volunteer. I guess so they put some ads out there when this first started happening. And now, if you guys are watching YouTube, they're very, 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 very upset that we didn't take the bite to be paid $10 an hour or $7 an hour to stand in the sun for 16 hours picking blueberries. We didn't bite, and nor were we gonna ever bite on that one. But that's what they thought that was going to happen.
Right.
So as of yesterday, I don't know for those of you that are actually seeing it, there's a senator, I don't know where she's from, but she has suggested that all of the people that they have kicked off of Medicaid, that
Yeah.
all of the people that they've kicked off of Medicaid, they would be the ones that they would train, the farmers would train replace the migrant workers. So
Well,
what you
that
think
doesn't sound right.
about that?
That doesn't sound right because it sounds to me like the training process that the migrant laborers have gone through is pretty extensive and it's pretty comprehensive. So, are they just going to throw some welfare recipients out there and say, okay, now you're ready to work in this
Yeah,
infrastructure? I mean, that's
yes. That
crazy.
that should be the plan, Gilbert. But
Oh,
have
my
you ever
Lord.
seen how migrant workers pick the talent and the skill sets that migrant workers have?
They have amazing skill sets. I couldn't compare to them at all. Just the way I see them operate within their system, man, that's top notch.
Yeah, I
Top
mean
notch.
they can go through a huge field and they can pick so fast it makes your head spin. You're like, whoa. Now I'm a gardener. So I do my own little bit of harvesting. Uh
Yeah.
and I'm not growing nowhere near what they are and picking nowhere near what they're picking. You can have 10 acres and the first hour of the day they have completely picked everything. Let's say if it was blueberries or strawberries or whatever, they have a system, and and then they put them on the trucks and then they go off to market, or they then have to go to certain meals and stuff. It's amazing what they do, just absolutely amazing. In fact, we should take our hats off to the work that they have done. But what I do know, they're not going to be able to take folks off of Medi-Cal, and put them in the fields to pick up nothing. That's what I do know.
And this is whole kind of crazy right there. So, on our show today, we want to talk about a few items that will really address some of this, and one of them is one that we just started, the migrant labor reality check. Then we want to talk about how Black farmers and generational fears intertwine and how it impacts the Black farmers. We also want to talk about the economic cause of racism, if they're using race to determine whether or not farm workers continue to do their job or don't do their job. Then we want to see the cost of that. We want to tap into some receipts. We want to see what really is going to happen here in our economy. Right now, people are unsure. People are afraid. People are afraid to do investments. People are afraid to go out buy homes. People are afraid to go out and do certain things that could have long-term ramifications. And we all know from history that that's not a good thing. When you're unsure and you're not stable about certain things, you're going to make some bad decisions because you think you may be covered by whatever that thing is that you were hiding from, and now getting ready to start putting yourself out there. It's going to be a big clash. So as far as where the Black farmers and the generational fears are concerned, we've seen discrimination in lending, you know, and I like to talk about the redlining, because redlining encompasses so many things. And folks out there who are wondering what redlining is a system that the US government created back in the early 1960s, where they used that to segregate Black and minorities from certain affluent areas. So they draw a line. Let's say your zip code is 90012 in Los Angeles. Well, they'll draw a line around certain neighborhoods and say these neighborhoods cannot intertwine with this neighborhood over here. These neighborhoods, they cannot come over into this neighborhood and get loans or lines of credit. Or if they do sell their houses from these neighborhoods, we're not going to give them half as much the value as we give these other folks over in these neighborhoods. So that's how this whole redlining thing come into play. So it started out in the neighborhoods where they're trying to get people not to go to one neighborhood to the next. Then it crossed over into economic development as far as lending is concerned. Then it crossed over into the educational classification, where certain people who live in certain neighborhoods couldn't go to certain schools, certain good school, where they're teaching you, they're providing you good level education. So they did the communities, they did the banks where they did the education, they did real estate. You can't buy real estate in certain areas. As a small business, you can't get any loans from banks. So those are the types of things that they do, and they're trying to expand on this now with the Black farmers and that generational fear. So lending, you see a lot of discrimination in lending. If they lend money to farmers from other neighborhoods at 5%, in our neighborhood, they will jack it up to 15 and 20%. As a matter of fact, co-host, I'm a testament to this. I have a credit card right now. What Costco? Citibank. I'm going to call them out. Citibank. Criminals. So when I started that, first of all, I never selected Citibank to be the bank that I use with Costco, because what Costco does, they have a system where they align themselves with a certain lending institutions. So their membership cards are attached to those lending institutions. So not
Oh,
only
okay.
do you have, not only do you have a membership card, but you also have a credit card attached to your membership card. So when you go to Costco's, you can use that membership card attached to the credit card to pay
Mm-hmm.
for your the stuff that you purchased there.
Mm-hmm.
So it started out with American Express, and next thing you know, they switched over to Citibank. So now Citibank is the new funding carrier.
Mm.
So when they switched over, my interest rate was at 7.75%. Next thing I know, co-host, I just checked like a few days ago. Guess how much
Mm-hmm.
my interest rate is?
How much was it before? 7?
It was 7.75
So what is it
or
now? 12 or
7.74.
13?
How much?
13?
try,
Oh, more than that?
try 13% plus another
Oh my
7.9%.
gosh. That's higher than the
21,
revolving.
21 to
That's up there with the
22%.
yeah, with the revolving credit cards.
Yes,
So what's the
that's what they're
additional for?
charging. Huh?
What's the additional 7 for?
Because they can do it. Because they
Mm.
can do it, and you come from a certain classification, and you look a certain way. So that's what
Mm.
they do. That's what they do. And it's like they're trying to tell you, yeah, it's a privilege for you to use our card, you know. So I'm going, no, 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 no. And on top of that, here's what they do. When you buy certain types of item, the interest rate on that is higher. Another item you purchase, interest rate is a certain rate. So for example, you may buy let's say buy clothing. Interest rate on that might be at the 11% on the card. Then you buy something else, the interest rate 17%. And then at the next item you buy, that's going to be say at 21 to 29%. Do you see what I'm
Mm.
saying? So you ended up spending all this money and you go, wait a sec. And then when you make your payment, co-host, you make your payment, the payment is going towards the highest, the item with the highest interest rate.
Wow.
So you think you're paying down your balance and you're getting all excited. You're not paying it down. You're just paying some high interest and you can never pay it off. So that's what I discovered this week. I'm going, me? Get caught into that situation? Someone like
It
me?
wasn't it wasn't like you deliberately you didn't deliberately make it happen.
Exactly.
They happened it to you. You didn't.
Yeah. I couldn't believe I said me? Because usually those types of situation is reserved to people with horrible credit, not bad,
Right, exactly.
horrible
Yeah,
credit.
21%. A 21% interest rate would be based upon probably somewhere under a 650 FICO score, which is the
Yeah,
purpose of that, right? Is to discourage and to encourage the ones with better credit and good credit.
exactly.
That's what you're insensitized with, right? Is the fact that you get better interest rates. So to
Yeah.
be in a position, it's like it's there is so many things going on in this country right now that is really hard to fathom what the economic goal is, because everything that has taken place is will actually reduce us down to a very poor country. We
Hmm.
what when we look at the implications of removing the number of people that is being removed, it's going to do a number of things, Gilbert. And then at the same time, it's going to cause consequences like what you just said, right? So corporations are corporations. So
Hmm. Yeah.
generally, as we all know, if a corporation is partnering up with a third party, there's some benefit in it for them,
Yes.
right? And no benefit for you, but some
Nope.
benefit in for you. So since this is Costco, I don't know how many members Costco has, but I assume worldwide,
Millions. They got
millions of
millions.
customers. And if even 75% of those millions have the same situation you just encountered,
Yeah.
and Costco is a big warehouse that is affected by tariffs.
Right.
They're also affected, they're going to be affected by this food shortage.
Yes.
And that means there are going to be reductions in their revenue base.
Mm-hmm.
And so corporations, as any business owner should be, is how do I replace that income with, how do I replace that? How am I going to replace that loss, right? So what are
Right.
some of the other ways I can replace what other ways can I replace that loss? So it only makes sense if they're getting a piece of that 21%, right?
Right.
Because other than that, so let me give you some other stats that I think that because I'm the math person, finances makes sense to me.
Yeah.
All this other stuff makes no sense to me. But the other day I posted something, Gilbert, that racism cost the United States $16 trillion.
Wow.
That is how much being racist costs a country.
That is
$16 trillion. So, so,
unbelievable.
so we already got that. We see what's happening. So some of the consequences, and everybody needs to be aware of this. And this is why we have to start putting pen to paper and sending letters to everybody, that I don't care if they're looking at it or not. We need to be being very vocal right now.
Can you say that number again, co-host? Because the audience needs to
16
know this.
$16 trillion is what racism costs America.
Wow.
So some
Wow.
other consequences to this mass destruction, the deportation, is it's going to reduce the nation's GDP. And it's suggested the reduction is going to be somewhere between 2% and 7% by 2028. And that depends on the scale of the deportations. Now, what would 2% and 7% equate to in dollars by 2028? That would be, the 2.6% would be $711 billion to $1.7 trillion, which is at the 2023 levels after we came out of COVID.
Wow.
So another study has estimated a cumulative loss of 4.7 trillion over 10 years, which is equivalent to about 2/3 of the decline experienced during the Great Depression. And the loss of these migrant workers is going to disrupt supply chains, because a lot of the factories use migrant workers as well. It's going to decrease production, and it's going to lead to higher labor costs.
Yeah.
It's going to more than likely drive up prices for goods and services, potentially fueling inflation. And some economists suggest that the loss of immigrant labor during COVID-19, the pandemic, contributed to the inflation, and the mass deportations could repeat this scenario.
Wow.
So we are in another pandemic. It just we just don't get a vaccination to cure us on this one. So what you guys saw 5 years ago when the whole world shut down, and nothing was moving, the supplies were stuck out in the ocean, and nothing happened to 2022, right? We were just coming out of that in 2024. Biden escalated everything when he got in there to get us out of this. And he got us out, and we were back in a place. We were back in a better place. Money was being spent. The only thing that saved us during the pandemic was Nancy Pelosi actually pushed through the the CARES Act. So that had money circulating. If money, this is from anyone that understands finance. If money is not circulating as a result of production of cost and goods and services, and money is not exchanging hands to be able to elevate the GDP, to elevate the people that live in this country. If we can't work, we can't make money, we can't pay taxes. So now that reduces the tax revenue
Yeah.
significantly.
It's a
And
vicious cycle.
it's a cycle. And if you remove monies that are being contributed, millions and billions of dollars to federal, state, and local taxes annually, those monies will not be there. And also the reduction of labor means there's a reduction of monies going into Social Security and Medicare.
Right.
And so, and those migrant workers were paying taxes. They did not benefit from the taxes. They were paying taxes.
Yeah. I just think that whomever is running this operation has no clue how those things work interchangeably. So as a result, they come in with some foo-foo, bogus, fuzzy math and some fuzzy economic development tactics that is really stifling the economy right now, stifling all of us, messing with the smooth operation of the economy.
Well, we're business coaches. What do we
Yeah,
coach? What do we coach our clients on every single day?
making sure that they stay solvent.
And the way they do that is making sure that they are selling products at the right price to the
Yes,
to a large number of customers, right?
yeah,
If
yes.
any one of those items or uh those any one of those take a shift or excuse me, take a loss, then the whole formula is gone.
It throws
And
out the
so,
whole ecosystem. And that's kind of what Ken Hitz is suggesting here in the chat. He said also climate change will have a significant effect on food, which is true.
right.
Because if the climates get affected, now we can't grow. You've seen that big old flood in Texas recently, how many people have been killed, and then their food products are going to be washed away, from the farms. So now there's no food to produce, to sell, and to make money.
Exactly. And without the food, um, and the weather, if it's raining, then it's gonna wash out crops, and crops are not gonna be produced.
Yeah.
But even before you get to that, a lot of, like in Nebraska, if you guys have been following the news there in Nebraska, they have, I think the last count I heard, to the second quarter, which would be August 30th, and most of the farms, which is where we're getting our beef and our pork and our dairy products,
Chicken.
and all those are coming from those areas. They're going to be
Yeah.
bankrupt,
Yeah.
and as a result of them being bankrupt, and as a result of the bill that just was signed in, executive signed in, they are losing hospitals. um, they think, here's their magic thought process, and this is why this is operating from emotion and not from rational. 1 + 1 = 2 and 2 + 2 = 4. In their equation, and 2 + 2 equals, I don't know,
3
25.
equal 3.
Because they're thinking, okay, well, we're going to shift the people off of Medicare and Social Security and disability, and we're going to put them in the workforce. Now, granted, there are some that probably should have been in the workforce a long time ago, but
Yeah.
at this point, you're not getting them. You're not going to get quality workers from somebody that's been on Medicare, Social Security, Medicaid for the last 15 years. They
That's
just
that's just ridiculousness, man. How are they gonna get those people out on farms? It just it's so
and it's not
ridiculous.
just farms, Gilbert. It's companies. Companies are not going to be able to hire.
To hire those people.
They're not going to hire. Any kind of company that's doing. If it's not a blue collar, if it's not white collar,
Yeah,
businesses, then any of those people that are working in blue collar jobs, they are not there anymore.
that's right.
And
It's
then
just nonsense, man.
it's just
How
such
they're
a
putting out
rippling
there.
effect because now look at the number of migrants that say the wife was the citizen, the husband wasn't, but the wife was working and or the whole entire family was working.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
wife got a mortgage.
yeah,
Now she's lost. If she's the only one that was American and that had a citizenship, and the
yeah.
rest of them were trying to go through the process, but they had mortgage, what's going to happen? They're going to default on the mortgages. If you're
Oh,
going
for
to put
sure.
out 25 million people out of this country,
Hmm.
at least I don't know, Ken, you're in the math world and doing what we do here in the community. Look at the drop. What will
Yeah,
happen even if you take of the 25 million that they want to deport or 65 million that they want to deport, then 60% of those may have owned homes and left American wives here. Then that means that American wife or that American husband, whoever the one was the American, it's going to be a catastrophic blow to this country.
right.
So I don't know
That's
how you
crazy.
think you can destroy the country and then come back and rebuild it. Is that the plan?
Yeah, that is just so ridiculous, and I don't even know how people stand to listen to those types of stupidity. Because I mean, come on, man.
But
We've gone from a system where people speak knowledge and they speak truth, and when they speak it, they try their best to implement it. But here people just talk a bag of nonsense. They don't implement anything, and everything they're launching or putting out there as law is something that's restrictive. It's going to restrict either your access to production, your access to resource, your access to economic development, access to living. It's going to restrict something.
we will
It's
look like
ridiculous.
we will look like a Russian. But now here's my question. I, I get I mean I get the nonsense behind the it's not rational, but I do get the nonsense behind this craziness, right?
Yeah,
They want to be in control at all costs, and it doesn't matter if the country is going to be destroyed because of it. They really think that okay, we will rebuild it in the way that we want to rebuild it. That's BS.
yeah,
But if that's what they want to believe, but here's my thing: as a as a business person and corporations that are in business, why are they not saying anything? Because their
that
companies are going to be affected as well.
that's what I don't understand about this whole thing right here, because pretty much everyone is being impacted, but a large majority of entities are staying quiet. They're not saying anything. So do they expect it to just blow over? What do they expect? What are they expecting from this? Because I'm telling you, the more hits we receive as middle class and other categories, the more hits we receive, the less inclined we'll be to say, okay, we're going to still pay the mortgage, or we're going to still pay this bill, or we're not going to do that because we're being hit over and over, and no one really cares about what we think, live, and feel. So eventually, that non payment by us is going to impact those companies too. So then what? You know?
And that's the part I'm not getting, because if we can't, if food insecurity is going to hurt everybody, because
Yeah.
everybody on this planet has to eat food, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so if we can't afford the food, the companies are going to be doing massive layoffs because they don't have enough labor to produce their products, which then is going to be a trickle down theory. We're going to be like the Nebraskan farmers as well, because at the wow, unless we're going to be printing money in the backyard, I don't know where's it going to come from. I just don't get it.
See, Ken Hitt said that the war on DEI will have a huge effect also.
Right.
Huge. And he said they're scared of Trump. T-Mobile just eliminated all mention of diversity in order to obtain favor. And that's true. T-Mobile is one of them. Amazon is one of them. FedEx, all of those companies, they're trying. It's even the banks. A lot of the banks are doing away with diversity programs, incentive programs, and this is this is not a handout, guys. All this is an opportunity to help to balance the scales. We know that 90% of us are the ones bearing the tax burden, paying taxes, paying for everything. When they talk about increases, we're the ones that are impacted, not the 2% or the 1%ers. It's us. It's
exactly. And the 1%ers, so you're going to be squeezed. The poverty is going to close in like this.
Yeah.
The wealthy are not paying any taxes here on this front end, because that was the whole idea for the big bill. They're removing Medicare, Social Security, so the retirees that did have money, they're going to be whittled down to nothing, because they're going to be trying to pay for health insurance and health care that's going to cost astronomical amounts of money, because they literally have gotten rid of all of the programs. I think you can, at this point, I think the date is moved from 67 to 70 to be for retirement. So you won't get your retirement at that time. You got entities, you have, if you are leaving your house to be inherited by your relative, part of this bill, and you guys really need to read that bill, is going to transfer your home. If the relative doesn't move into the home, the government is going to come in and confiscate the home.
Is that stupid Proposition 19 that
that's the
they're
start
talking
of
about?
it? Yeah, that's the 19, and then the federal government took it to another place.
See, that's why when there's election, folks, and I'm going to say this over and over in big bold prints and big bold voices, okay? When there's elections, guys, you guys need to read those ballots and the paperwork and see what's on there, because I'm sure when you don't vote the direction in which they want these propositions to go wins, because if you don't vote against something, then it indicates to them that you're for it. So when they put those stupid propositions on there, you need to read them, understand what they're about before you vote. Don't vote blindly. A lot of, even the sales taxes that we have now in the county of Los Angeles, which is at 10.25%. All right, that's a result of those ballots that they put in there. They have those stupid propositions, and people don't understand what they're voting for or what they're not voting for. And as a result, that gave way to increases in those taxes. Our taxes were what, like 8% or 8.5?
Oh yeah, right? They were 8 point something, 8.3.
And now we're at 10.25. And you may not think that these percentages impact you guys, but I wanted to know this. When I went to go buy my car 6 months ago or 8 months ago, that 10.25% hit me hard. Because when you buy your car, they're jacking. Let's say your car is for $75,000 or $80,000 or whatever it is. They're adding 10.25% on that. And if you think, well, I don't live in where I'm going to buy my car is not where I live. That does not help you one bit, because the address on your driver's license is the address that they're using to calculate the sales tax on your car. So all of these things that my co-host Crystal is talking about, guys, you need to pay attention. You may think that it's not impacting you or affecting you right now directly, but it may do that indirectly.
Right.
Pay
And
attention.
But you gotta pay attention to everything. Ken just put in the chat that they eliminated the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, which means now vultures can just steal anything. There is so much hacking going on right now, trying to just suck. It's like a vacuum is attached to the United States of America, and all of the oligarchs are just like sucking out all the money. I don't know where they think they're gonna go with it, but they're sucking out all the money and they're leaving the citizens to be shrivel up raisins, I guess, because there's going to be nothing left. There's going to be nothing left of this country for you to survive on. And so, and I know we're making this sound absolutely horrible, but we're not making it horrible because this is real. I know it feels like we're in some kind of twilight zone.
Yeah, it seemed like we're making stuff up. I want to add something to what you and Ken just said, co-host, right? About your property. Do you know that somebody, the way things are right now, right? Because we're not protected by anything. Do you know that someone can go to the county right now? They can pull a deed pull on your home and transfer that deed to their name, and then take that deed and go get a loan on your property. They can even sell that property from under you, and there's no protection for you. That's in the county of Los Angeles right now. That can happen because that's been happening to a lot of older folks, and there's nothing. You know how on certain credit reports, when people apply for credit, you get an alert that, hey, somebody just run a credit check on you, and you can say, hey, that wasn't me, and then you can protest. Well, in this case, when they take your deed for your property and they transfer it over, there's no alert that says, hey, the name on this deed was transferred to a new owner. None of that. So you don't even know. You've got the property and you're paying mortgage on it, thinking that you still own it, but you don't. Somebody else do. So people who own houses, you need to check with the county and see if your name is still on that property. This is a public service announcement from the business zone.
And
Okay.
here's the other thing, Joe. So along that, and Greg is absolutely right. That is why you register your property to get notification if any activity. You register your cell phone, everything that they could come in and hack on. You need to make sure you are diligent. You need
Right.
to be going to even if you're not collecting Social Security right at the moment, you need to be going to your Social Security and Medicare accounts weekly or bi-weekly to make sure that everything is the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Don't get caught 6 months, 20 years down the line, 5 years down the line, and thinking, "Wait, I thought." There ain't no thinking. You need to be vigilant. And Ken just put up that JD Vance is buying up farmland. So now let's talk about the black farmer, right? So before we get to the black farmer, let's talk about. You asked the question, Gilbert. Who do they think they're going to replace the migrants with? Well, I think right now they're playing with that nonsense about putting the Medicare recipients into the fields to make them work. But
That's
and I
ridiculous.
know what the elephant in the room is.
Yeah.
And that elephant in the room is they think that if they make life so hard for black people, we will run back to them.
Yeah.
So if you think that's hyper vigilant, it is not. Let me tell you, I heard something yesterday that blew my mind. So the reason the United States does not have universal health care, can any of you guys, I know Ken and Greg and Fernanda, y'all all connected like we are. I didn't know this, but the reason we're the only country that does not have universal health care is because this guy, I think his name was Fernando Scott, or his name is Frederick Scott. He was a racist, and this is back in 1910. He said, if we had universal health care, we would have to cover the Black man.
Oh,
And we
Lord.
don't want to do that.
Oh, Lord.
And so for every president that was pushing forward universal health care, this person was involved in the medical department, and he made sure that the medical field, the lobbyists for the medical fields, were making sure that never ever happened. They also indicated that for Medicare, when Medicare was implemented into America, he also was involved in that. I believe, I don't know if he was a doctor, but he sat on the board of the American Lung Association. So he was involved. He was a very wealthy man in the healthcare industry. And so they made it 80% and that 20% gap, because they felt that he really truly thought if it was no Medicare, no medical provided for Black people, that we would eventually just die out. That was his thought process, his rationalization. We just would die out. And
They don't know. They don't know that we don't die. We multiply.
That's because we came from ancestors that lived for 250, lived and worked, and we went through 400 years of torture. And if we ain't dead from what we went through, we ain't dying because you ain't gave us health care. Anyway, so that's the issue. And yes, they've been using incarcerated labor as slaves, right? That's why they're always putting us in jail. But now they want us to, I guess, voluntarily come over and work their farms so that they won't lose their farms. And they're not speaking in code anymore. They are telling you exactly what they want. So they're mad at us because we won't voluntarily come over and help them save their farms. Them and their farms can go to where, in my opinion.
You know what's amazing about this statement that Greg Sneed just put in the chat, which states that there are 2.1 million incarcerated, and the 13th Amendment allows that to be used as laborers for slave wages. That also happened back in the 1860s, because remember when they claimed that they abolished slavery, 1865. Well, it was 1863, but they didn't tell us for 2 years. So we found out later on, after they got 2 years of free labor out of us. So that was like billions of dollars they make. So then what they did, because now the slaves were free, and they're going, okay, we can't allow these slaves to own property and all of that. So here's what we'll do. We'll arrest them. We'll trump up some charges, have the cops arrest them, put them in jail. So once they're incarcerated, they're not allowed to own properties or anything like that. And then we'll put them to work. That's the same thing that's being said here on this 2.1 million incarcerated. And the 13th Amendment is going to allow for that, because the 13th Amendment was what they put in place to say, if you're Black and you're arrested, you can't buy property, you can't do certain things. You see what I'm saying? This is unbelievable. So this is a cycle. This is a cycle.
It's called systematic racism, and that's why the world is falling apart, because they want to be the authoritarians. They don't want any other minorities. Maybe if they had no choice with us Black folks, and now they're looking at trying to incarcerate the Native American. So it's just insane. And so now, if you can't get us regular citizens to go to your farms, and I don't know, Trump don't even care if they go to the farm, because they just gonna incarcerate people on the alligator island, and they want them to die. So they just gonna be throwing them over into the water so that they can die from the alligators. But so now the Black farmer, there are a number of people who actually acquired their family's home in the South, and they took over their parents and their father's craft, which was farming, right? So along the southern seaboard, the southern plains, you have in Georgia, Mississippi, South Carolina, North Carolina, all of those places, Texas, black farmers, and they've been struggling. And they're not a mainstream conversation on anybody's network. So that's why those of us that are black, um, podcasters, we need to bring them to the light. And so they've been dealing with discrimination, underhanded lending, land theft, negligence from the U.S. Government, local intimidation. So now what do you think is going to happen? So now they're trying to survive this influx of taking all of the migrant workers. And there are some of them that had migrant workers as well, but a lot of them were farming their own land. They were doing it with their own people. In fact, I think I read that they got hit with discrimination suits because they wouldn't hire migrant workers because they wanted to hire people that look like them. You know, like we all are told, hire people that look like you, put our own people to work, right? And so this was not happening. And then they got hit with huge fines for discrimination because they were not hiring migrant workers. The migrant workers were the ones that were documented, I guess, were actually suing the black farmers. So they had to deal with that. That was a different type of racism. Now you're gonna get racism from the immigrant, right? From the migrant. And now they are fearful because of retaliation, because they are not going to succumb. They're not going to give them their farms and go work for them. That's just not going to happen. Right. And so they're concerned about their crops being burnt down, especially after the white farmers lose their farms. You know how they are, man. Everything gets blamed on us anyway. And so that is what is going to happen to them. And just all around, this is a bad thing. So now we didn't told you all the horrific things gonna happen. So now here's what we need to do, because we cannot sit here and keep worrying about them, but you do need to know what's going on. You cannot put your head in the sand and think that if you hide your head, they're not gonna see your butt sticking up out the sand. So that's not gonna happen. They know you exist. We gotta have a plan. And so this is what I'm saying to our people. One, we have to have a call to action. We have to unite people. We just can't keep living like we're living, waiting for them to not notice us. We are always on the radar. They might be picking with somebody else right now, but they on their way back. So
our turn is coming up.
We always intern. They didn't just shifted the wheel, I call it the wheel of names or the wheel of people, and they just twisted it and they just spun it. And right now we're gonna deal with this one, and then we're gonna come back to these, because these are the people we always messing with, and we're gonna come back to what we're familiar with. But here's what we need to do. We need to support our local black farmers. We need to find out what that looks like, how that looks like. If they're coming down for fresh fruit markets, if they're coming down to fruit markets, fresh fruit markets, we need to go shop with them. Heck, if you don't have anything to do on a Saturday, drive up to Fresno. If you're in the state of California, drive out to one of the farms and help them harvest their stuff. And in exchange, they will give you your food so that you won't die without food. Maybe I can work out some sort of, what you call it in Jamaica, Gilbert?
The barter system.
Yeah, let's go with a barter system. You give them labor, they give you food.
Yeah.
Next thing is, we need to write to our lawmakers, and we're not asking now. We need to demand, and we need to demand.
Is there an election coming up, co-host?
Yes, there's an election coming up in November 2026.
So people need to start finding out who the candidates are that are running and write letters to these guys and say, listen, man, you've been campaigning for years asking us to vote for you and support you. We want to make sure that you guys are going to support this situation that we're facing right now. We want to demand ethical immigration and agricultural policies. I want you to write that in your manifesto. I want you to write that in your campaign program.
We also
Otherwise, we're not voting for you guys.
And but the other problem is we already know this last election was majorly tampered with, and so we don't even know what that looks like. It looks like that could be majorly compromised. So we need to actually have a strategy that is going to work. But in the meantime, you do need to write to all lawmakers that are in place right now. If it's no more than to be on. When I was in the insurance industry, and yes, they know where we live, but that's okay. Be ready for them when they get to you, man. I think the Second Amendment is still in order, and I think even if they destroyed the Constitution, I bet you the only one is gonna stand is you have the right to bear arms.
Hey, man,
get your weapon, your arms too.
if they don't want to recognize the First Amendment, the Second Amendment is there to remind them of the First Amendment.
So they want their Second Amendment. They're not gonna ever get rid of it. We need to have a reincarnation of the Black Panthers. They're like, okay, we can go get some arms too. But we have to create a movement. The politicians know need to join. We need a movement that is going to redefine what we want, and I think you really gotta have we gotta have a movement, man. Here's what I just learned, and then of course none of anything that is positive happening, you aren't gonna hear about it. You got to go dig on TikTok, and you got to go dig on some of the other sites. You got to go to the business. They now have newsletters. You got to subscribe to the ones that are still speaking and not being bullied by the fat ugly man. So you got to go other ways to get your information. And we got to start a movement like that. We need to get our butts off of Facebook and go over to fan base. And that's where we need to be hanging out, because he's not gonna allow. He says no corruption over there, and they don't even think he's significant as of yet. So they're only the oligarchs that they want to keep wealthy. So we gotta change what we're doing, and we gotta mobilize. And so Ken, yes, we are. I didn't sit down with some women in this, and we just tired. And women got children, and they are not going to see their kids sent off to some crazy ass war. And they're like, okay, it's time. We got to go do what we got to do. But what I did find out, Gilbert, was this, that Target got hit so hard when Black folks stopped going to shop at Target. And at all their stores across the country, they maybe have 20 people walking in through it throughout the day. Wow. Where they found out that in Target, I think it was almost 80% of the people buying from Target were Black. And now they're not coming in.
Wow, that is unbelievable.
They are not and then their stockholders like, what the hell is happening?
That's an economic impact right there.
Right. And they're like, go get them. And we ain't buying it. We don't know that you gonna be true. So we ain't coming back to Target right now. You still on punishment. And so if you find you have to shut your doors because you ignored the $2 trillion consumer, oh well. Dumbass for you. But yeah, so we gotta change how we're thinking. We gotta have a movement. It needs to be stealth. We have made some major changes in this world because we did what we did, and we are far more significant than everyone thinks. And that boycott needs across the board, Ken. We need to let even our politicians know we are not happy with you guys. We gotta, I'm sorry, retire anybody over the age of 75 that is still trying to drag their butts up to the White House or drag their butts up to the state capitol. They need to be put to rest so that they can go be with their grandchildren's and hang out and talk about old times. They are no longer relevant in this space. They have to go away. And we thank them, we love them, but it's not their time anymore. We gotta let some young folks come in and do what young folks gotta do.
I think we need to take a break for about 7 to 10 days from this economy and see what happens.
Right, exactly.
See what happens with no blackness involved in the operations of the society, the economy, and see what happens.
Right. Those of you that haven't started gardening, I suggest you do. At least you can eat you might have a measly choices, but you will have your own food. So yeah. Yes, Maxine, love Auntie Maxine, but Maxine got to go. It's time for her to go rest. All them folks out there need to go rest. We don't need to see anybody.
And Clyburn, right? Who's Clyburn? Clyburn?
Clyburn. I don't know who that Clyburn is, but they need to be, if they're not in their 30s to their 45s to their 55s, we'll give you the 55. You still got all your active brain. The people that are in office right now don't even know how to use AI.
Dang.
Some lady the other day called it A1.
A1.
Like
they don't know how to use A1.
So if you can't call it AI and you calling it A1, you don't need to be in the office. If you don't know what TikTok is, you don't need to be in the office. If you don't know, if the last thing you remember was a dial-up phone, the black dial-up phone, and you don't know how to use your cell phone, if you cannot get on Zoom and be able to share a screen, you should not be in office. I'm sorry.
hey, Ken and Greg, do you guys know how to use A1? You guys need to study up on this thing.
Greg
said it's the new steak sauce.
That's what I'm saying. If you can't send me a digital copy of a document and you got to go and find a fax, you too old to be in the office.
Fernando say, I love that sauce. You love the AI sauce?
And if you still talking about the good times was 1950, you need not to be in the office.
Oh, I knew that Claiborne guy. I think Ken said he's from South Carolina. It's a congressman. You know that old dude?
Yeah, the one that had several heart attacks.
I think so.
And Turtle McConnell needs to be gone. He had several heart attacks and strokes while he was sitting there.
Oh man. Hey man, you guys, I mean we're kidding right now. We're clowning around, but this is serious, man. You guys need to sit down and take a stock of what's going on right now, because otherwise what's going to happen is whatever has happened to our friends across the border there is going to be happening to us soon, because they're going to try to force us in those farmlands with those stupid people they brought. They call them the what they call them, Afrikaans. The Afrikaans from South Africa.
They're not going. They told them they don't do farm. Now, Greg, you know, Pastor Murray, he implemented the 70 retirement for the AMA. So you know he did it for a reason, because he thought anybody over 70 need to go sit down, and that's what needs to happen.
Anybody over 70? That means I got 3 years, man. I got 3 years to do some things. Hey, Greg, what do you mean mandatory 75? So I only have 8 years left.
In a political office, you need to go sit down. I'm sorry. You just, I gave you, if you don't know how to do Zoom, if I'm still telling you 5 years later how to use Zoom, you need to be sitting.
If you don't know how to use the Zoom or the A1, you need to go sit down.
Oh, Lord have mercy. But yeah, but that is what needs to happen, guys. We need to mobilize. We need to and if you guys are interested, if you're serious, then I'm working with some women here in Los Angeles that that's what we're talking about. We just can't sit and wait for it. But we're gonna end the show with this little caveat. And I think sometimes karma is just so beautiful. And karma comes, sometimes it just comes out of us like a corner. It's like been sitting there waiting to jump and pounce, right? So TikTok, Trump has been playing with TikTok for a minute, and then he thought he graciously gave everybody 90 days to keep without destroying TikTok, right? And then yesterday, he told TikTok that he was lowering the boom because he's mad at China again.
Oh, Lord.
He was lowering the boom, and they had to sell, and he was selecting the very wealthy company that was going to buy TikTok.
What kind of stupid stuff is that?
So then
it's like you're trying to tell your enemy that, hey, I don't want you occupying space next to me anymore, but I'm gonna pick who's gonna buy your property. Come on, man.
So he chose Oracle. So he made a big announcement on Monday that Oracle was going to be buying TikTok, and they were going to, by September, everyone, they would shut down their old TikTok account, and then they would will open a new TikTok account under Oracle. It was going to be called M. That's what it was going to be called, M. They were changing the name. So, and also he wanted it to be an account that surveillanced all American citizens.
See,
the next day, let me finish. So the next day, Oracle came out and said, "Hey, nobody sat down and had none of that deal. We ain't talked to nobody. We not selling. We not buying TikTok. We're not doing any of that.
We're not buying Jack."
We're not. So TikTok, this is the karma part. TikTok has agreed, okay, we will create a U.S. business, not in China, but a U.S. business. Because Dance Dime said, no, we ain't selling nothing. But TikTok, the owner, said, and remember, he was invited to the inauguration as well.
Yeah.
But what they have done is it's like, okay, we will create an American version, central right here, so you don't think that the Chinese are actually sneaking up on you. But this is what they did. They went out and poached Amazon's employees to jumpstart the U.S. business. Now it's doubling down on its China roots.
This is hilarious. This is hilarious.
So they will be launching its e-commerce platform shop in the U.S. They did that in 2023. Now they're on a hiring spree, and they're poaching dozens of Amazon staffers to work up in Washington State offices, a few blocks from the Amazon office, so the people don't even have to change their routes to work.
This is such a clown world, man. All of this stuff going on right now, man. No wonder they're saying they're going to replace him next month by the 12th. This is such clown, man. See, this
Woo!
is what they want us to waste our time thinking about instead of coming with economic development plan to sustain ourselves. I mean, in the 1920s, we had Black Wall Street. We ran Oklahoma. We ran other states. You see what I'm saying? Because we were self-sufficient. Now we're trying to do it, and they come up with all these little stupid distractions every day. This is ridiculous, man.
We
Just,
need to. There's one thing that Elon talked about. You know, he was talking about his bubble world. Remember?
yeah.
So I think Elon is an idiot, but I think that's what we need is a bubble world. We need like an invisible world, an invisible thing that makes us look on the outside exactly like where they think that we're poor and broke and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And behind the bubble world, we will become our Black Wall Streets and all of those things, and we will
Man,
live
I'm
happily
telling you,
ever
man.
after in our bubble world. We'll let them think it looks like Baltimore. I don't care. It can look like downtown Baltimore on the outside, but on the inside, we just gonna be living without being up under their scrutiny. We can even elect our own president. We can elect our own whatevers, and they have to follow our criteria, and they will all look black. That would be my. Since we're in this surreal world anyway, let's just be there for real.
Man, I think I think what you and I talked about the other day, man, about galvanizing at least 10 black billionaires, have them invest 10 million, right? You can put a 10 million in a bank where you get locked it into a 4.5% interest rate, right? That's $450,000 right there each. So then you provide these loans or lines of credit to small businesses, and then since you got 10 of these guys, right, 10 times that will be a few millions there, that you can select a handful of small businesses, provide them that guidance, and let them run the course for a year, and then you do it all over again, man. And we can start help building our economy. We don't need the others to try to give us any bank loans or mortgages or anything, because they don't care about us. They're not going to give us anything. They still got their redlining in place. So we need to create a black lining where we block them out. we do our own trading and our own businesses.
That's what I told you. Put us behind the butter. Greg, so here's the thing. Those people that are focused on buying luxury goods and not falling in line, what did Harriet Tubman tell them? If you're not with me, then you against me. So that means I gotta kill you to get you out the way. you don't hamper with my underground railroad. So we're gonna have to climb into a Harriet Tubman energy and operate like Harriet Tubman. You ain't coming. She pull that little pistol out. Then I'm sorry, I can't leave you behind. You gonna go tell the master, I got to get rid of you.
This is crazy, man. Ken said this was uplifting and he's looking forward to more. And that's really what we want to do here on this channel, The Business Zone, man. We're on every Friday from 3 to 4:30. My co-host Crystal, Coach Crystal, who to me is one of the most eminent business coaches in this country. And I'm not just talking smack because she's my friend. I've seen the results that she produces, man. She produces small, young youth entrepreneurs, and adult entrepreneurs alike who have done outstanding things to contribute to this economy where we don't see some of the others do. So, yeah, that's why I put her in high regard. She's, as far as I'm concerned, she's a super consultant, just like me. We're both super consultants because we're always looking out for small businesses, man. So that's what we're doing. So thank you guys for tuning in. I put in the chat, I put that link that Greg, I think it's Greg who sent this to me, Greg Sneed. He said to protect your home from being stolen, because like I said to you guys before, there are criminals out there who are going to the county office and they're transferring your deed. They're transferring the name on your deed from your name to their name. Then they take that and they go get a mortgage or they get a loan on your own property, and then it make it seem like you still owe it and you still owe those bills that they criminalize your property on. So there's a link I put in the chat right now. If you go to that link, it's called lavote.gov, and then it's called Home Recorder Property Document Recording Homeowner Notification Program. That means if they try to transfer your title to somebody else, the county is supposed to notify you right away and say, hey, is it true that you just transfer your property to Tom Strokes? And you're going to go, what? I don't know Tom Strokes. That's a criminal right there. So
Exactly. In fact, I got a call one day from somebody looking for, actually Fernando, not Fernando, but they were asking for Fernando. And I said, I'm sorry, because that's what they've been doing to a number of the Gestapo and the fake suit guys, the fake army guys, and asking for Fernando. And I said, I'm sorry, this is the wrong number. Now, I don't normally answer phones. You got to come through Texas to get to me, but I don't know, whatever. I was driving and it rang, and so and the number didn't pop up, so I answered it. And he says, "Is this Fernando?" No. Well, I said, there's no Fernando here. And I'm not nice. I'm like Greg. I'm not nice when folks call me when I don't know who you are. And I said, I'm sorry, you have the wrong number. And so he says, well, don't hang up. He says, I can talk to you. Now, why the hell would I talk to you when you were asking for Fernando? What kind of
exactly. They do that all the time. They call me and ask for Naomi. I'm going, Naomi? There's no Naomi here.
I said,
well, we could talk to you instead.
No, you cannot. I don't talk to people I don't know. Bye. And I hang up, and I'm just mean and nasty. Or when I answer a phone, like, what do you want? I don't need Medicare. I don't need solar panels. I don't need insurance. I don't need to refi nothing.
I don't need any handyman around you.
I don't need nothing from you. Bye. I'm just nasty. And call me again, and I'm gonna say, call me. And I know one guy says, I tell you what, call me again. And if I've had a horrible day, I'm gonna curse you out so bad you're gonna get the blunt of who I couldn't curse out. Try it.
Fernando said, bye, Felicia. Man, I'm telling you, man, there's so many criminals out there, man. So guys, you got to protect yourself against scammers and all those people out there who are trying to make it off us. Okay. But the first and foremost one I want you guys to really pay attention to is your home, your property. Protect that. Make sure they don't switch over your name from your title into their name and go out there and get loans and mortgages so you have to take the brunt of that, whatever that responsibility is. Okay, protect yourself. I put a link in the chat. Make sure you click on that link, go to the county, and protect yourself. I believe the county has some kind of a lockbox system that they can lock away your title and nobody can register anything onto it. That's one way. Another way you can do it is get a trust. They have a trust out there. Talk to your attorney. I'm not a legal attorney. I can't give you any legal advice, but speak to your attorney about how you can get a trust to put your deed, your property in there so that it stays there and then people can't get access to your deed. All right.
Exactly.
Protect yourselves, guys. Protect yourself,
because they are definitely out there, and we're being attacked by Russians, and now that we done pissed off the Iranians, they probably joined the bandwagon. So yeah, protect yourself. Take your head out the sand. Let's join a movement. Let's see if we need to protect ourselves. Yeah. I like Greg says, an underground Mercedes Benz, everything underground, man. They found a tunnel in Los Angeles. We can go and inhabitate, see where that goes. Maybe there's an underground city like there is in Egypt. We just figure out a way to put air and let's go. But man, I'm not sitting here waiting for them to come for me, though. I know that. I do know that. I'm not sitting here waiting for that. So, guys, have a safe week. Be careful. out there. It's just insane. It's just like insane. That's all I can say. Try to take steps away from the news every now and then. Listen to some music, go dancing, go swimming, go walking, go get some exercise, blow off steam somewhere.
If
And
it's not fake ICE agent try to deport you, then it's fake scammers try to take your property and sell it from auntie.
Whoever thought on domestic grounds we would have to be fighting for our lives because the terrorists, the domestic terrorists, are the ones coming out, and we made all that hoopla about the international terrorists. We should have been worried about the domestic terrorists. He is far cooler probably than any what was the one that was Saddam Hussein. This one is more dangerous than Saddam Hussein.
That's right. That's right.
All right,
That's
guys.
right,
Yeah, I like that, Greg. Wakanda. I would like to have my own Wakanda. Let us all pack up and take our folks to the Wakanda land. And then let's
So
put some ferocious bears and lions and tigers at the gate.
I think instead of the Black Wall Street, the coming of the new Black Wall Street is gonna be Wakanda. It's gonna be the coming of Wakanda, right?
Yeah, let's set up a system like they did in doing the crack era. And it was whistles and clicks and all this sort of stuff. The man is coming, the man is coming, and everybody disappear.
Greg said to make Leroy on the corner look legit.
Right, exactly. Make it look, and he's like, and then however they do that, because they didn't catch drug dealers back there because they had a silent system. We need a silent system.
Oh man, this has been great, man. We really had a good time, guys. Fernando Young, you've been amazing. Greg Sneed, Ken Hitz, and everyone who tuned in, Jasmine Haley, everyone who tuned in live, man, and supported us and give your input on these programs. You know what my co-host and I did. We do research every week on topics that can impact our community, small business community, minority community, and see how we can give some insight, some additional data to help you guys grow, strengthen yourself, and become a part of that 2 trillion spending power that we have. Okay, we want it to be. We hopefully within the next 12 months we can have it at 3 trillion. You know, that's what we would love. So we do our work weekly, guys, and we're here to support you. And if you're a small business and you'd like to come on our show to talk about your product, your services, try to get expanded to the world so the world knows what you're doing, you give us a call. My co-host, she put the QR code up on the screen, you know, so
Right
you guys
now.
can click on it and you guys can find us, send us an email, send us a message, and we will get you enrolled, register for the show, and we will get you on the show so you can talk about it, guys. We're on every Friday from 3 to 4:30. This is the Business Zone, and you're getting 2 super consultants here. We're not just running our mouth and talking just to talk, guys. We are, in fact, super consultants. When you interact with us, you walk away with value. We give you value in one way, shape, or form. You're going to get some value from us that you can take to your business and elevate that business. Whether it's preparing you for government contracts, getting your business certified for government contracts, getting you bank loan ready. If you're a nonprofit, getting you nonprofit ready so you can go after funding, getting your books looking good and decent and compliant with GAAP. You know, if you don't know what GAAP is, that's general acceptable accounting principle. That's what my co-host does. She does forensics on those things, guys. So
that I do. I wish I could do some forensics on America. Yeah, guys. So yeah, just be careful out there, and let's we got to create our Wakanda or whatever it is, but we got to make sure that we're safe. Happy Friday to everyone. I just heard that I just was looking at something online and it said that was humor for the day. It said that the FBI just intercepted a package that suspicious package inside was a dictionary and a and the U.S. Constitution.
Oh Lord.
All right, everyone. We are going to sign off. Good show. Kind of fun. But real stuff behind that, guys. Just because we're laughing don't mean that we're not serious. We are serious. We are. We got to protect ourselves. So
That's
we will
right.
see you next week with another riveting conversation. Please join us. Share this one. And please go over to our YouTube channel and hit that subscribe button. Follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. We will be back here next Friday at 3 o'clock with another conversation that is taken snatched from the headlines, but it will be pertaining to how we make sure that we as Black people are surviving. Oh, this is the one last thing before I hang up. The imposters, the imposter army people, military people went to a Puerto Rican museum and they wanted to arrest all the Puerto Ricans. And they're like,
Oh my God.
excuse us, we're U.S. citizens. We're a territory of the United States.
This is so ridiculous. See how ignorant they are, man. Puerto Rico is a U.S. territory, but they want to deport people. They want to deport them to the U.S. territory.
I guess they're going to go to Hawaii next.
Yeah, Hawaii and Guam.
Guam and Alaska. They're going there next.
That is so ridiculous, man. You see how ignorant these folks are, man?
All right, guys.
Oh.
Have a great weekend. We will talk. We'll see you next Friday. Be safe.
As a small biz pro, I saw we roll, using procurement, program and control. As a small biz pro, I saw we grow, using procurement, program and control. I'm a